Hello guys, I'm busy in Asia. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sergey, and in this video I'm going to introduce you a topic: how to start your business with no money. Yes, you're right. How to start your business with absolutely no investment. And this is the first video in the series of videos I'm going to share with you during next couple of months. How to start your business from the scratch. So this video is about how to start your business with no money. Then the next video coming is about how to find and choose your niche. Even you don't have any ideas what you want to do, wherever you are, you can find a good idea to start your business. Then I'm going to share with you other ideas about how to test your idea and basically how to develop your business step by step. So if you are not subscribed yet, please consider to, because I believe this video is going to be valuable for you and you can learn something new, at least. You might have a question: why should I listen to this guy? So let me first of all share my own experience. I have been doing business for almost 10 years, basically more than 10 years, more than 10 years. And right now I'm in my office. It is 300 square meter office. I'm doing business in education. We are doing business here in China. We are opening English training centers. This is our second office, a big one. The first one is only 90 square meters office training center. And this business is quite successful. Beside the fact that we have already two offices here in Nanshan City, Jiangxi province in China, we also have managed to sell 2 franchises already. We prepared a franchise offer, and our franchisees are quite successful as well. This is basically, we reached this success only during 2 years. So it took us 2 years to basically to grow our company from one very small office, 90 square meters, to company which is 500% greater in the equity by now. Beside that, I also have a trade company here in China. I'm trading different goods with Russia mostly. And before that, I had few businesses that some of them were successful, some of them were not as successful. Even some of them were basically failed. I think that those failures are even better experiences that the successful businesses are, because you can learn from your failures even more, and you basically now have a chance to learn from my failures instead of doing your own failures in business, and especially in the start of the business. I started my first business when I was 20 years old, when I was still a student. That business was quite successful. I managed to sell that business after 2 years of operation. Then I tried to start other businesses in restaurant, on the restaurant market, and they were not as successful. I should say they failed. The restaurant business is one of the most difficult businesses, as I believe. And then I started my own marketing agency in Russia that was quite successful. And then I moved to China, where basically I live now. And beside my business, I still work as a teacher of business study and economics. So I believe I have some foundation and I have some tips that I can share with you. And I hope they're going to be useful for you in your future business success. I'm not one of those YouTubers who suggest you to start their YouTube channels. I don't have my channel very popular, but I have a real tangible business, real tangible experience, how to start business, how to start tangible business, which is sometimes, of course, it is online business if you would like to start one of those. But it's not YouTube, it's not Instagram, it's not affiliate marketing or something like that. It's a real tangible business, and I will give you the steps that are applicable for any kind of business. Let's get into it. Before we start, the main question should be, why are you going to start your business with no money? Or why don't you have money? Why don't you have investment? And there could be different reasons. Maybe, so that's why this video can be valuable and useful for people who basically are still college students, maybe for those who are fresh graduates and they don't have money, obviously, to start their own business. As well as this business could be useful for those people who now work for other people, for other companies, but they don't have additional extra money to start a business, or at least they think they don't have anything. Or maybe for those who have some savings and want to invest their money into new business to start earning money for themselves by not working for other people. I would like to start this video from comparing two people in two different situations. So let's name those two guys. Let's say one of them is going to be, let's say, Steve. And another guy's name, let his name to be Bob. Okay. Steve and Bob. They're in the same situation. They don't have money, or they don't have extra money to start their business. Maybe they're fresh graduates who don't have money, live with parents. Maybe they're students, they don't have money, they live with parents. But basically they have absolutely the same condition, all right? Maybe they spend all of their salaries for the rent and all other utilities, living from paycheck to paycheck. It doesn't matter. The basic initial situation is when they don't have money. However, Bob has managed to have an additional income of $1,000. And there are different ways to do that. Maybe he finds some part-time job, maybe he works some extra hours, maybe he has managed how to save his money more wisely. So he has some advantage over Steve and he's earning his money. And from my point of view, it is very important on the very first step when you start your business to figure out how to make some income. It shouldn't be $1,000 exactly. It should be some amount of money that you can earn. Whatever you do, there are many jobs out there that you can do and save some money. And $1,000 is not as much from my point of view, especially here in China. I know that some people who work in China currently, they are watching my video. So to save $1,000 while working in China, for foreigners especially, it is not really a big deal. So it is very manageable to do that. However, I would say that he definitely has advantage over Steve just by acquiring some additional income. And this money is not going to be used for the investment. This money is required from my point of view. It's very important to get some side hustle. There are many ways to do that, like Airbnb. You can rent out some of your bedrooms maybe on the Airbnb. You can earn something online. You can just work extra over hours. While Steve doesn't want to work for anyone else at all, he has this mind. He wants to be only an entrepreneur. He doesn't want to work for anyone. Steve agrees to work for somebody or for some company while he knows that this step is only taken in order to achieve his future goal. So he is able to give up some short-time ego only because he knows that he wants to achieve something better in the future. And this is very important. So that's why he has some kind of a mind shift. This mind shift is absolutely a game changer. He knows that now he is working only to create the value that then he can test and start selling. Both of them, they have the same goal. Basically, they have the same condition of the market where they should enter. They should enter market at some point and where they should provide their value. So the main goal is creating the value. So they should create the value that later this value can let them to earn some money. Creating the value that other people are willing and able to pay for. That's their goal. And if you ask me, even me, the most successful experience of doing business by myself was when I was hired working for other company while thinking and creating my own product. Why? First of all, because you have to support yourself, right? You have to live, you have to make some daily expenses. And even they are in the same conditions, they are just, maybe they'll live on the couch of their friend, but still, Bob has managed to have some additional income, which is not a problem. While you have the same condition, maybe you live with your parents, it doesn't matter. But what Bob and Steve do have in common? They have in common the goal, which is creating the value for potential consumers, creating the value for potential consumers that potential consumers will be able and willing to pay for. That's what they have in common. Beside that, they have a market which is common for both of them, right? And the market is quite harsh. There are many difficulties on this market. And that's why basically there is a 50 to 90% of failures on the market. It means that 50 to 90% of businesses in different countries fail. And there are several reasons. There are several reasons for the failure on the market. These reasons are, the first one, many businesses or entrepreneurs, they don't have, they are not in touch with consumers. Basically, they don't know what consumers want and they don't try to find it out. That's the first reason. Another reason, they don't differentiate. The products are not different from all others on the market. And while there are some products on the market already, consumers are not willing or able to choose new ones they don't have trust to. This is the second reason. Another reason is they fail to communicate their value. They fail to communicate their value. They fail to communicate the message, what kind of value they bring on the market. They fail to communicate that they have this value and they're ready to sell it. That's another reason. Next reason is lack of management or leadership skills. Lack of management or leadership skills. It means many entrepreneurs, they don't know how to manage people. They don't know how to make people follow them. And the last reason why many businesses fail on the market is because they are unable to create proven business model. So they move somewhere here, they move in this direction, but they cannot prove the business model that can generate the income. They can generate any revenue. So these are the reasons why businesses of Steve or Bob can fail. So they have the same conditions on the market. And they have very different ways to achieve their goals of creating the value. Let's say Steve, who doesn't have money and he doesn't want to waste his time earning money for others from the very beginning, he is trying to iterate his product. He's trying to execute as soon as possible. So he's trying to make executions, one execution, another execution, and basically he's trying to learn on his fails. That's what I did. That was my experience. And after the many failures, after the maybe failures, 40% of my businesses failed, I have right to say this is not the correct way to do it. So let's say 1 month is passing. So the first month for Steve, he goes and he makes execution of his business idea. Whatever the idea is, he's making the business execution of his idea. While Bob basically has some income, some additional income, maybe some money he saves, and he's working for another person and he knows why he is doing that, but he takes this time to learn. So he basically is, so first month, he dedicates his time to education. So he invests some money in his education. Maybe he spends $100 monthly, and this is quite a good amount of money for a good education. Today you can find many different courses that are particular business related or they are generally business related. And what does he learn? Basically, he learns how to solve and how to fix those problems one by one. So he's preparing himself for the execution in the future. And later on, he will definitely have the advantage over Steve. So he spends his money and he has money. Even though there are many courses or trainings available to learn for free, the best courses and the best trainings are paid. And this is one of those trainings. This is not training basically, but this is just sharing the experience here. And in my next videos, you can see I will give you basically all the steps from the scratch to the start of the business with no money. Again, only you have to spend is for education, as well as a test of your product when you choose the niche. But in the next video, I will give you a few steps how you can choose your niche, wherever you are, whatever you do now. So he's spending his money for education. $100 is money that basically gives you many options of really good trainings, really good opportunities for self-education. Then, let's say, because Steve doesn't have any experience, he didn't learn, he didn't do his homework, then he fails. Most probably he fails. And on the second month, and during this time, he doesn't earn anything. He just fails, loses some money, maybe loses some reputation, maybe loses self-confidence. Then, second month, he makes another execution. While Bob again dedicates his time and money for self-education. Again, he can maybe spend another $100 for another good course, good valuable training like this one. However, you don't have to spend anything for this course. And then it keeps going. 3, 4, 5 months. And here, the last execution that Steve has kills him, because he completely loses self-confidence. What he can see is only fails. And basically, there is nothing bad about fails. You learn by failures. It's okay. But if failures are constant and if they are continuous, then you start to lose self-confidence. And this is the worst thing. The worst thing you basically can face. Well, Bob is keeping doing what he is doing. So the third month, fourth month, fifth month, he is doing his self-education. He is choosing his business niche, and finally, on the fifth month, he is doing the execution. For Steve, his probability of failure is very high. It is almost the same as the general market numbers. He has probability of failure 50 to 90%, because all potential problems that he has are listed here. While Bob, by his education steps, he solves this problem. He knows how to deal with it. Means by doing that, he decreases the probability of failure step by step. Then even lower probability of failure, and then maybe he can reach the failure probability, which is, let's say, 10 to 30%. This is probability of his failure. Now, it is very unlikely that he can fail. Of course, he still can fail, but it's not as likely as Steve, who didn't do any self-education, who just wanted to start business as soon as possible, right away. Of course, you heard a lot of stories like Steve Jobs implemented a great idea. First, he has generated a great idea, then he implemented this idea, or any other famous entrepreneur. I should say, we are not all the cases of those entrepreneurs. Of course, I believe that every person is very talented in one or another field. But the most difficult thing is to determine what your talent is. Until you are not able to do that, you have to study. You have to make the knowledge acquisition. I personally call business finding solutions for the problems in dynamic business environment. Every time when you face some problem, you have many different options. Some of these options are right. Some of those options are wrong. And most of the options are wrong, while one or two are correct options that you can choose based mostly on your education or on your experience. So if there are 4 options that are wrong out of 5 and only one option is correct, while you educate yourself, you draw a trace of good solutions, of making correct decisions. And this is an example of Bob. While Steve is just trying something, fails, then he has another 5 options and he doesn't know which one to take because he didn't learn. Then, finally, Bob has a greater probability that he will achieve the final goal of creating the value that people will be willing and able to pay for. While Steve can lose his self-confidence and give up business forever. Basically, what is another advantage of Bob in his situation? While they have the same condition, for example, they live in their parents' place or they pay for their place, Bob has $1,000 more monthly than Steve does. He spends $100 every month for education. Then he has $900 every month left, which later can be used for test of the product test. And the product test is the way to determine whether you have value, whether you are successful in creating value or not. So he has money for product test. He doesn't need to invest this money in business. No, he doesn't need to. He may need this money for self-education. He may need this money for product test. In the future lessons, I will show you how you basically can test your product, and it doesn't take a lot of money. It's not an investment in business, because after you test your product, and if the test of product is successful, if your iterations are successful, then you don't have any money to start your business. If you prove that you can create the value, if you prove to yourself, then with product test. If you prove to anyone else that you can create the value, then there is no way to worry about raising capital. There is no way to worry about raising capital. It's not a problem anymore. So the main goal is to find how to create value. All right, let's conclude here. Let's make a conclusion. So, if you'd like to start your business with no money, the first you should do is find a job. Find a job, guys. Find a job, guys. Support yourself. Just be able to cover the daily life expenses. Just be able to save some money. Not necessarily $1,000. No, you don't need so much. This is just an example. You only need some money to test the product, which is not a lot at all. And I will show you in the next episodes why. You don't need a lot of money. Then, make a mind shift. Just like Bob, mind shift is a game changer. If you know why you are working for any other person, then maybe you will consider to find less desirable job for some period, but which is higher paid job, just in order to create value in the future, just in order to make your business in the future. And then your life will be much easier, because you will definitely know why you're doing that. Next one. Don't go all in. Don't put all in the business. This is not a poker, guys. This is not a poker. So don't follow Steve's steps. If you go all in, then the probability of your failure is very high. So first, try to decrease the probability of your failure, which means educate yourself. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. And even though the probability of your failure is lower, you still may fail. And you know, there is nothing bad about the failure, and because failures give us a lot of experience. But the most important is how you face the failures. If you fall down 7 times, if you get up 8 times, right? So it doesn't matter if you fail. What matters is how you face your failures. You know, Robert Kiyosaki, he started his own business, according to his book, when he was still working for someone. I hope this video was useful for you. Hopefully you can apply these principles right now, starting from today. And in the next video, which I'm really excited about, I'm going to share with you some steps tips and basically few very clear steps how to choose your niche, how to find niche, how to choose it, and how to start thinking already about the idea and field of your business. Even though you don't have any ideas now, there are many sources of where you can find ideas, and I will share with you those sources. Thank you for watching. My name is Sergey. This was Busy in Asia. If you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see new episodes of How to Start Your Business series, and see you next time. Goodbye.